Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am Jen, and I have lost 80 pounds while taking Mounjaro since March of 2023. Since I have started Mounjaro, all I've heard and I still hear about are just conversations around side effects, and rightfully so. But all prescription drugs have risks, and we see and hear them every day. I mean, while watching TV, half of the drug commercials is listing side effects. So why would we expect anything different while taking Mounjaro? If you're just starting out, halfway through, or a year in like me, this is still a very important video to watch. Because, like, think about it. I bet you have some kit or items on hand for things that may or may not happen. During flu and cold season, you may stock up on certain items. If you have a very high maintenance dog like I do, you probably have a dog emergency kit on hand. Like, we have products on hand for things that may or may not happen. So why are we not doing that with Mounjaro? And you may already be doing that, and you may already have most of these on hand. So great, you're off to a great start. But in this video, we're going to take a deep dive into just those potential side effects, things I have on hand in my Mounjaro emergency kit. Because one minute you could be feeling amazing, and the next you get hit with nausea. Um, and I say this, keep in mind, I'm not a doctor, nor do I want to be one. So if you experience any side effects while taking Mounjaro or Zepbound or trizepatide or any other weight loss injectables, talk to your doctor because, combating any side effects is definitely not a one size fits all approach. And I do not want to be talking about serious side effects here. So not going to be doing that. But when my doctor recommended a weight loss injectable, the first thing I asked him was about side effects. He gave me a breakdown, but really not in a way to scare me, but just more of making me aware, and also that I may or may not experience any of them. And he also told me I could do some more reading because he already knew I was going to go on the website and read. But he was like, go do some reading, and that's exactly what I did, and I can go back to him if I had any questions. So while these medicines are just promising solutions for most of us, and I say has changed my life, potential side effects and understanding them is crucial. And we all react differently to medicines, and that's not just Mounjaro or Zepbound. And we hear the most common side effects are what? Nausea, diarrhea, vomiting, constipation, stomach pain, indigestion, injection site reactions, allergic reactions, burping, hair loss, and heartburn. I think I got them all. And they can worsen the first few weeks of taking it or months when you increase a dose, or they could just eventually start lessening over time as you hit that optimal dose. But typically, these common side effects will go away within a few days or weeks after, taking your shot, doing an increase, like I said, or your body is now adjusted to this medicine. So after that conversation with my doctor, the first thing I did was go online and I went directly to the source, read it, read everything about it, and then I created a plan of attack. And I put things into two categories: ones that I can do now on a daily, weekly basis to prevent or limit these common side effects. And the other is, oh my God, I have a side effect and I just want it to stop. So, some of the things that I do on a daily and weekly basis to set my body up for success is that I limit what greasy and fatty foods. I don't restrict them, but I typically avoid them the day before or day of and a couple days after, like 2 days after, because that is what I have found works best for me. I also eat small meals at regular intervals. I change up my injection site. I administer the injection like later in the afternoon, so I could hopefully sleep through any side effects. I did titrate up slowly. I talk about a lot. I drink a big glass of water with electrolytes first thing in the morning, stay hydrated throughout the day. I prioritize protein with every meal and snack. I consume at least 5 servings of fruits and vegetables. And I do not put my body in a starvation mode. I don't go in extreme calorie restrictions. I do some form of exercise, even if it's just a daily walk. And I keep my stress levels in check, which I know is very hard. But these are the things that I do on a daily and weekly basis that I feel like has helped. And all of those areas I focus on, can prevent or lessen common side effects, like I talked about: nausea, fatigue, and heartburn, and whatever else that I listed above. And that side effect of hair loss was recently added when Zepbound was approved by FDA. Now, when I started taking Mounjaro, I did hear a ton of chatter on this from Reddit and some Facebook groups. And as somebody, that plans too much, hence this video about planning, I knew this was an area that I didn't want to react to once I started losing, hair, because my hair is so thin to begin with. And I know this is very common when you lose weight or have like, weight loss surgery. So for me, I made a decision to start Nutrafol from day one. Keep in mind that's something I wanted to do. It is a little costly, but do your research because there really are a lot of other options out there. I also add collagen peptides to my morning coffee protein. I've used brands like Vital Proteins, BPN, Orgain, but I really just buy from a couple brands based on the quality and the best price. And I've found Sam's Club can run some really great sales on Vital Proteins. But I also use a silk pillowcase. I have some amazing skincare products from Inner Sense Organic, not sponsored. But I wanted to share that because I don't know which one of the things that I've done has helped. Maybe it was a combination of all of them. But I didn't experience any hair loss. It was just the normal shedding. And I did lose a higher amount of weight early on, which can trigger hair loss. But I think I found that recipe of success for me. And thankfully, I prevented hair loss. But I also prioritize protein. I eat the right foods and I get in the right amount of daily calories for my body to keep it just functioning in an optimal level. Um, Now, let's keep it real. We can do every single thing, follow every guideline, do anything we can to prevent these side effects. And well, we might experience one or more of these, and that's just, life. And some will have more than others. So don't be discouraged. I found a handful of side effects that have occurred for me while taking Mounjaro and Zepbound to be just very manageable. Um, so now this is the part of the video that I talk about what I have in my emergency kit. None of these are prescriptions. They're all over the counter. And once again, this is a part where I say consult with your doctor if you're experiencing any side effects, even common or severe. So let's break them out by each side effect. First one is nausea. Um, Now, this is probably the most common side effect. I believe I read 18% of people experience nausea while taking Mounjaro. Especially the higher doses may bring a higher risk. But eating smaller meals, avoiding fatty foods, stopping eating once you're full, um, just staying adequately hydrated. I've read they can help, but also things like ginger chews, electrolytes, sniffing an alcohol prep pad, or Dramamine or Emetrol. Um, I've heard those worked, but thankfully I only had a very small bout a while back, and I just sniffed an alcohol prep pad, and I sat down, drank some water, and it went away in a couple minutes. But extreme cases, talk to your doctor. Now, some people experience diarrhea, and that's also, again, on very higher doses. But doctors say that this goes away. Most important thing is that diarrhea can lead to dehydration, so it's very important to drink water, clear fluids, and maybe have on hand some Imodium or Pepto Bismol, which I've read Pepto Bismol also can help with nausea, but not a doctor, so just take it at that. And then vomiting as well can occur, and it's manageable and can occur when you first start taking and just can go away with time. But if you have vomiting and severe stomach pain, call your doctor. End this video if you have it now. Go call your doctor because that's a serious side effect. But with diarrhea, you have risk of dehydration. So drink water, clear fluids, and then take a look at what you've eaten, maybe the past couple days before the shot and what you've eaten right after the shot, and look for some minor changes to potentially avoid this. Now, constipation is another huge one we hear about. And I think we forget, and I can't believe I'm saying this, that you don't have to have a bowel movement every day. Having three or less in a week may be a sign of constipation, but usually can go away on its own. And, you can prevent this by exercising, eating fiber rich foods. I found that a daily stool softener can help for me. And then, like any extreme cases, things like Miralax or Mago 7, have them on hand. But talk to your doctor to determine that right product for you, because what has worked for me may not work for you. But don't wait to talk to your doctor if you're constipated, because you really don't want to end up in the hospital, because this really can be prevented and treated rather easily. Now, indigestion and heartburn, they can worsen when you drink alcohol, eating greasy foods, caffeinated beverages, eating too quickly. For me, raw green beans. But it only happened once, and I'm back to eating them. And when it happened, I took some Tums, and I was perfectly fine in a couple minutes. But I do have on hand things like Gas X. I've heard Pepsid and Prilosec also can work, but talk to your doctors about those things. Injection reactions or allergic reactions can also occur. I remember reading about this early on when I started. So I applied a cold pack after my injection, and after a certain period of time, I just stopped and didn't really notice a difference. And I didn't have any reactions, so it was just something I phased out. But it could be something as simple as that you could try. But if you're having an allergic reaction, I would 100% talk to your doctor. But with every allergic reaction, what do they say to have on hand? Benadryl. But you need to get it under control, and your doctor will provide you more guidance there. But Mounjaro and Zepbound can also make you feel tired, disrupt your sleep. There's so many reasons why. Like, you could be eating fewer calories, having low blood, sugar. Just exercise makes you tired. But most of the time, it can go away on its own as you just get used to taking this medicine. I had some fatigue early on, like the morning after, but I found it manageable. And so now I, would take it mid afternoon, and I sleep through most of the side effects. And I wake up in the morning and have my electrolytes. And I just know the right day to take it because I take it on Saturday late in the afternoon because I know I don't have anything first thing Sunday morning to worry about. Now, when I first started, I did on Fridays because I did not want to disrupt my work week. But after a while, I noticed I really didn't have any side effects. So I tried Saturday, and that's been what I've been doing with for months. But think about what is best, like what's the best day for you to take your shot if you're battling, fatigue or any of these side effects. But just, rule of thumb, try to relax the next morning when you wake up and get some fresh air, go for a walk. Um, but I did take B12 shots, and honestly, I don't know if they worked or not, but it hasn't had a negative impact on me or my blood work. But I hear, a lot of people recommend that. So talk to your doctor because that's what I did about, getting B12 shots because it could be an option for you. And lastly, this thing is not listed on websites, but we talk about it a lot, and I've experienced it firsthand, is that this medicine can make you feel cold. Like prior to me taking this medicine, I was walking around like I had a hot flash constantly. I had no diagnosed reason why, but I loved the feeling when I was getting cold. And now I wrap up like a baby in a blanket, heating blanket. But my understanding is that it happens because Mounjaro and Zepbound can affect that hormone that regulates appetite suppression, which in return controls like your core temperature. I just bundled up and I dealt with it. I talked to my doctor briefly about it, but to be honest with you, I love being cold sometimes. And there you have it. Really, these side effects can be prevented by most of the items I talked about, and I bet you already have them on hand. But really, it's about coming up with that plan that works for you. I typically avoid asking my doctor for any additional prescriptions for any side effects from Mounjaro or Zepbound because I don't want another prescription that's going to give me side effects. And in some cases, I also look to see if I'm titrating up too quickly. Maybe I might need to go down a dose, have my body adjust. I only spent 1 month on 2.5, and the others I titrated up like 3 or 4 months after. And I'm lucky to say my experience taking these over the past year has been extremely positive. And yeah, I'll take the occasional tiredness or constipation, like things I can manage. I'll take them. And I also told myself early on when it was the unknowns, because I think, I wanted to make sure I didn't forget it. But before I started taking this medicine, I had severe headaches, trouble sleeping, stomach issues. I was lightheaded just from, high blood pressure and being obese. And I was off of blood pressure meds within 2 months of taking this medicine and losing weight. So I want to end with this because just maintaining consistent communication with your doctor or prescriber, seeking guidance is extremely important for us to be able to achieve the best outcome for this medicine. And I say it is crucial to have that, like the right support system and a plan so that you can ensure that you're having a healthy and just a fulfilling life. I always treated these medicines as a tool, not a miracle drug. And if I can do things to prevent any of these side effects from happening, I am going to do them because this medicine is a part of my life, and I just need to be able to listen to my body and do what is best for me. Now, I know while some people experience side effects, it's important to know all your information before starting out and be ready, even if you're a beginner or you have found that, you're titrating up and, it's the unknown. And I say this, it happened to me and it still happens to me, like, and I think it happens to most of us when we go up a dose. It's just that fear of the unknown. And so I remember, like, I had no issues on 2.5 and 5, and I was going up to 7.5, and I just happened to be reading on Facebook, one of the Mounjaro weight loss groups, and a lot of people, ask questions about what is it like on this particular dose. And that day, it was so odd. I found a comment about how, like, 7.5 just completely crushed them. Meanwhile, I'm like 2 days away from titrating up to 7.5. And I don't know why I allowed myself to read through these comments and just get to me. And I was like, well, maybe I should stay at 5. I don't know if I really need to go up. I'm still losing weight. I don't have any side effects. Why am I doing this? And I'm questioning everything that my doctor and I have talked about. I'm questioning based off of people that I've never met before in a Facebook group. And so I just needed to realize that everybody experiences side effects differently. Some get them, some don't. And so for me, I needed to walk away from that group and say, God, I feel really bad that you're experiencing side effects. I have not up until this point. I've gone 3 months going from 5 to 7.5, so I may not experience any. And I'm doing all of these things to set myself up for success. That even if by some slim chance I do have any side effects, I have a plan in place to combat them. And I also needed a little pep talk just to say, you're going to be fine. Just do everything you've been doing up until this point. And guess what? Everything was fine. 7.5 was just like 5, but I just needed to get out of my head and just realize my journey is completely different from everybody else's. And I've said this a couple times. I overplanned for everything. I had a plan. Thankfully, I didn't have to execute it. So I really hope you found this video informative. Please comment below if you've experienced any side effects. Hopefully you haven't had any severe side effects, but I'd love to hear what has worked for you on the side effects you've had. Please subscribe so you don't miss any future videos, because I'm working on a couple really fun ones, some a little bit different than what I've seen out there, and I think you guys will really enjoy them. So go out and be great, and remember, this is your journey. You need to set your own plan and how you tackle if you get any of these side effects. But remember, the vast majority of them are manageable, treatable, and also preventable. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Have a good one.